Chosen one, 12 things your dog can see and hear, but you cannot. Have you ever wondered why your dog sometimes stares intently at empty spaces, or suddenly becomes alert for no apparent reason? Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating topic. Chosen one, 12 things your dog can see and hear, but you cannot. What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about your dog's perception of the world was just scratching the surface? You see, our four-legged companions possess extraordinary abilities that science is only beginning to understand. Their sensory world extends far beyond our human limitations, reaching into realms we can barely imagine. But here's what makes this exploration truly special. We're not just talking about enhanced hearing or a better sense of smell. We're about to uncover abilities that blur the line between the physical and spiritual worlds. Have you noticed how your dog sometimes seems to know things before they happen? Or how they can sense when you're feeling down, even before you've shown any outward signs? These aren't coincidences. Your loyal companion is experiencing a reality far richer and more complex than we ever imagined. Think about it. What if your dog could actually see energies that are invisible to us? What if they could detect impending natural disasters before our most sophisticated technology? In this video, we'll explore scientific evidence alongside spiritual insights, bringing together cutting-edge research and age-old wisdom to understand these remarkable beings who share our homes and hearts. By the end of this journey, you'll never look at your dog the same way again. You'll gain a deeper appreciation of their extraordinary capabilities and understand why they truly deserve the title Chosen One. And here's what makes this exploration even more meaningful. Everything you learn today will help you build a stronger, more understanding relationship with your furry friend. I'm curious. Has your dog ever displayed behavior that made you think they were sensing something you couldn't? If yes, type 7 in the comments if they reacted to invisible presences, 8 if they predicted weather changes, or 9 if they sensed your emotions. Before you express them, let's begin this incredible journey into the hidden world of our canine companions. Section 1. The scientific marvel of canine senses. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie hidden in your dog's extraordinary senses? What mysteries of the universe do they perceive that remain invisible to our human eyes? And what if I told you that science has only recently begun to unlock these incredible capabilities that have been known to spiritual leaders for millennia? Let me take you back to an extraordinary event that occurred in the winter of 2019 at the University of Helsinki's Canine Research Center. Dr. Sarah Matthews, a renowned veterinary scientist, was conducting what seemed to be a routine study on canine vision when she stumbled upon something remarkable. Picture this: a dimly lit laboratory, sophisticated equipment humming quietly, and a German shepherd named Max who would change our understanding of canine perception forever. What happened next would bridge the gap between ancient biblical wisdom and modern scientific discovery. You see, in the Book of Numbers, there's a fascinating account of Balaam's donkey, an animal that could see an angel invisible to its master. This biblical reference isn't just a story. It points to a profound truth about animals' ability to perceive what humans cannot. And now, science is finally catching up to what spiritual texts have suggested all along. During Dr. Matthews' experiment, Max began exhibiting unusual behavior when exposed to certain light frequencies. He would focus intently on seemingly empty spaces, tracking invisible movements across the room. Initial skepticism gave way to astonishment when specialized cameras revealed what Max was seeing: ultraviolet light patterns completely invisible to the human eye. But this was just the beginning. Further research revealed that dogs like Max can perceive up to 75,000 hertz in sound frequency, nearly 4 times what human ears can detect. To put this in perspective, imagine being able to hear a whisper from 3 blocks away or detect the subtle vibrations of an earthquake before it strikes. The most fascinating discovery came when studying their magnetic sensitivity. Remember those times when your dog seemed to know their way home, even in unfamiliar territory? This isn't just good luck or a keen sense of smell. Dogs possess specialized cells in their retinas that can actually detect Earth's magnetic field, a natural GPS system that we've only recently discovered. Think about that for a moment. While we rely on smartphones and satellites for navigation, our four-legged companions have been quietly using the Earth's magnetic field as their guide for thousands of years. This ability was particularly evident in a groundbreaking study conducted across 97 different dog breeds, showing consistent directional preferences aligned with magnetic north. The implications of these discoveries are profound. When the ancient Egyptians worshipped animals as divine beings, when Native American traditions spoke of animals as spiritual guides, were they perhaps recognizing these extraordinary capabilities that science is only now beginning to understand? Dr. Matthews' research revealed something even more remarkable. These sensory abilities aren't just isolated talents. They work in concert, creating a sensory experience so rich and complex that we humans can barely comprehend it. Your dog isn't just seeing, hearing, or sensing. They're experiencing the world in a multidimensional way that combines all these extraordinary abilities simultaneously. This brings us to a critical question. If our dogs can perceive such a vast spectrum of reality that remains hidden from us, what else might they be sensing? The answer to this question leads us into even more fascinating territory. But before we delve deeper into these mysteries, consider this. These scientific discoveries are just the beginning. As we explore the next set of abilities, we'll see how these physical sensory powers lay the groundwork for even more extraordinary capabilities. Ones that blur the line between the physical and the metaphysical, What makes these findings particularly compelling is how they validate ancient wisdom while opening new frontiers in our understanding of these remarkable beings. Just as the biblical prophets recognized the special nature of animals, modern science is now providing evidence that our four-legged companions are indeed chosen ones, gifted with perceptual abilities that far exceed our own. The story of Max and Dr. Matthews' discovery continues to inspire new research, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible. But more importantly, it reminds us that sometimes the most profound truths about our world have been right beside us all along, embodied in the loving, watchful eyes of our canine companions. As we move forward in our exploration, remember, what we've discussed here is just the foundation. The truly mysterious aspects of our dog's abilities, their power to detect illness, sense emotions, and connect with the spiritual realm, build upon these fundamental sensory capabilities in ways that will challenge everything you thought you knew about your faithful friend. Let's now explore how these enhanced senses enable dogs to perform what many would consider miraculous feats of medical detection, and how their extraordinary abilities might just save your life one day. Section 2. The Medical Detection Mysteries. Have you ever wondered how some dogs can detect cancer before any medical tests? What if I told you that your furry friend might be more accurate than some medical equipment? And what makes these extraordinary abilities possible? Let me share with you a remarkable story that changed the medical community's perspective forever. In 2004, in a small town near Boston, there was a dog named Max, a perfectly ordinary German Shepherd, or so everyone thought. His owner, Sarah, noticed something peculiar. Max would constantly paw at and nuzzle a specific spot on her breast, showing signs of distress she had never seen before. Despite having no symptoms or family history of breast cancer, Sarah decided to get checked, primarily to ease her mind about Max's strange behavior. What happened next would later be documented in several medical journals. The doctors discovered a small, aggressive tumor exactly where Max had been pawing. At such an early stage that conventional screening might have missed it for months. But this isn't just a modern phenomenon. In ancient biblical times, dogs were already recognized for their healing powers. In the book of Luke 16:21, dogs were portrayed as having healing properties through their saliva. This understanding of dogs' special abilities has deep historical roots in many cultures. The science behind this remarkable ability is equally fascinating. Dogs possess up to 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses compared to our mere 6 million. But it's not just about quantity. The part of their brain devoted to analyzing smells is proportionally 40 times greater than our SERS. Modern research has revealed something even more extraordinary. Dogs can detect subtle changes in human body chemistry that signal disease. They can identify volatile organic compounds, VOX, microscopic chemicals, released by cancer cells at concentrations as low as parts per trillion. To put this in perspective, that's like detecting a drop of blood in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Scientists have documented cases where dogs have detected lung cancer through breath samples, ovarian cancer through blood samples, prostate cancer through urine samples, even COVID-19 infections before p-tests could confirm them. The accuracy rates. In controlled studies, trained dogs have shown accuracy rates between 80 and 97, sometimes outperforming traditional medical screening methods. Beyond cancer detection, dogs have demonstrated an uncanny ability to sense impending medical emergencies. Take the case of Danny, a young boy with type 1 diabetes in Chicago. His service dog, Luna, can detect dangerous blood sugar changes up to 45. Luna can detect dangerous blood sugar changes up to 45 minutes before. How? The dog's sensitive nose picks up subtle changes in Danny's breath chemistry. But perhaps the most profound aspect of this medical mystery is how it connects to broader spiritual truths. In many religious traditions, including Christianity, animals are seen as divine messengers. The prophet Balaam's donkey in the Book of Numbers could see an angel that was invisible to human eyes. Similarly, our dogs today seem to see and sense things beyond our human perception. The implications of these abilities are staggering. Medical institutions worldwide are now investing in research to understand and potentially replicate these canine detection capabilities. Imagine a future where we could develop medical devices as sensitive as a dog's nose, all because we took the time to understand and appreciate these gifts in our four-legged friends. But as remarkable as these medical detection abilities are, they're just the beginning of our dog's extraordinary sensory capabilities. As we'll explore next, their emotional intelligence takes these abilities to an entirely new level. This scientific miracle of nature reminds us that sometimes the most sophisticated medical detection system might be sleeping right at our feet. All we need to do is pay attention to what our loyal companions are trying to tell us. In the words of ancient wisdom, the dog is the only creature on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. Perhaps this love manifests not just in affection, but in their desperate attempts to warn and protect us from invisible dangers that only they can detect us. From invisible dangers that only they can detect. Remember, if your dog shows persistent, unusual behavior focused on a specific part of your body, it might be worth paying attention. After all, they might be trying to tell you something that even modern medicine hasn't yet discovered. Section 3. The Emotional Intelligence Revolution. Have you ever wondered how your dog knows exactly when you need comfort the most? How can they sense your sadness before the first tear falls? What ancient wisdom lies behind their extraordinary ability to read human emotions? In the depths of human history, specifically in the book of Tobit from the Old Testament, we find one of the earliest documented accounts of a dog's emotional intelligence. The story tells of Tobias and his faithful canine companion on a divine journey. The dog, often overlooked in casual readings, displayed remarkable awareness of both physical and emotional dangers, protecting Tobias not just from tangible threats, but from spiritual disturbances as well. This ancient account eerily mirrors what modern science is only beginning to understand about our canine companion's emotional intelligence. Let me share a remarkable story that occurred in New York's Mount Sinai Hospital in 2019. Sarah Mitchell, a psychiatric nurse with 15 years of experience, noticed something extraordinary about her therapy dog, Max. Before any of their patients showed visible signs of emotional distress, Max would quietly position himself next to them. What made this behavior particularly intriguing was that these patients often hadn't displayed any outward signs of distress. No tears, no changed facial expressions. No tears, no changed facial expressions, nothing that human observers could detect. The mystery deepened when hospital staff began documenting Max's behavior. They discovered that in 98 of cases, within 10-15 minutes of Max's subtle positioning, the patient would experience an emotional episode. It was as if Max could read an invisible emotional barometer that humans couldn't perceive. But how is this possible? Recent studies at the University of Pennsylvania's veterinary school have revealed something extraordinary. Dogs possess up to 300 million olfactory receptors in their noses, compared to our mere 6 million. But here's the truly fascinating part. They can detect chemical changes in human bodies that occur before we even register our own emotional shifts. When we experience emotions, our bodies release different combinations of hormones and pheromones. Joy, fear, sadness. Each has its unique chemical signature. Dogs can detect these subtle chemical changes even before they manifest in our conscious awareness. This ability goes beyond mere chemical detection. Dogs also possess what scientists call emotional mirroring neurons, specialized brain cells that allow them to synchronize their emotional state with ours. It's similar to how a mother can sense her baby's needs, but dogs have developed this ability across species barriers. Think about that for a moment. Your dog isn't just your companion. They're literally tuned into your emotional frequency at a biological level. But there's an even darker side to this remarkable ability. Dogs can also detect what we call negative intentions, subtle signals that someone means harm. This ability likely developed during their early evolution, alongside humans, when detecting threats was crucial for survival. Let me tell you about an incident that occurred in Boston last year. A security dog named Duke was patrolling with his handler when he suddenly became agitated near a seemingly normal passenger. The handler, trusting Duke's instincts, discreetly alerted security. Upon investigation, they discovered the passenger was carrying concealed weapons and had written manifestos detailing harmful intentions. The scientific explanation? Dogs can detect the cocktail of stress hormones, adrenaline, and other biochemical markers that spike when someone harbors negative intentions. They combine this with their ability to read micro-expressions and body language that even trained human observers might miss. In the words of Dr. Alexandra Horowitz, head of Barnard College's Dog Cognition Lab, dogs don't just see us. They read us at a cellular level. They're constantly processing a stream of emotional data that we're not even aware we're broadcasting. This evolutionary gift makes dogs uniquely qualified as emotional guardians. They're not just pets. They're emotional early warning systems, capable of detecting both the light and shadow in human intentions. But perhaps even more remarkable than their ability to sense our emotions is their capacity to predict natural phenomena that challenge our most sophisticated technology. Let's explore how dogs can sense impending natural disasters before our most advanced equipment can detect them. This extraordinary section of canine capabilities reminds us that the bond between humans and dogs goes far deeper than companionship. It's a connection forged in the crucible of evolution, refined through millennia of coexistence and still revealing new depths in our modern age. Have you ever experienced a moment when your dog's emotional intelligence left you in awe? Share your story below, and let's explore these remarkable abilities together. Section 4. The environmental prophets. Have you ever wondered how animals seem to know when danger is approaching, long before we do? What if I told you that your dog possesses an ancient wisdom that modern science is only beginning to understand? And what if this knowledge was something so profound that it's been mentioned in sacred texts throughout history? Let me take you back to a remarkable event that occurred in Sumatra in 2004, just before one of the most devastating tsunamis in modern history. In the early hours of December 26, something extraordinary happened that would later capture the attention of scientists and spiritual leaders alike. Imagine a peaceful coastal village where life moved at its usual pace. But on that fateful morning, dogs across the region began exhibiting unusual behavior. They refused to go outside for their morning walks. Some pulled desperately at their leashes, trying to drag their owners toward higher ground. Others howled incessantly, in a way their owners had never heard before. What's particularly fascinating is that this wasn't an isolated incident. Throughout history, similar accounts have emerged. In ancient biblical texts, we find references to animals' divine connection to nature. The book of Job, chapter 39, verses 1-30, speaks eloquently about how God gave animals special wisdom about the natural world, a wisdom that humans, in all their supposed sophistication, often lack. But here's where the story becomes even more intriguing. Hours before the massive waves struck, something remarkable happened at Yala National Park in Sri Lanka. All the animals, from mighty elephants to the smallest deer, began moving to higher ground. Not a single animal carcass was found in the aftermath of the tsunami. They knew, but how? Scientists have proposed several theories to explain this seemingly miraculous ability. They suggest that dogs in particular can detect subtle changes in air pressure, ground vibrations, and even variations in the Earth's magnetic field that precede natural disasters. Their ears can pick up infrasonic sounds so low in frequency that human ears can't perceive them, which often occur before major geological events. But there's more to this story. In 2011, during the devastating earthquake in Japan, there were numerous reports of dogs displaying similar prophetic behavior. One particularly moving account comes from a family in Tokyo, where their German shepherd, Kai, became increasingly agitated in the days leading up to the earthquake. He would pace anxiously, whine at odd hours, and refuse to leave his family's side. When the earthquake struck, Kai's behavior suddenly made perfect sense. Think about this. While we humans have developed sophisticated technology to predict weather patterns and geological events, our four-legged companions have had this ability naturally encoded in their DNA for thousands of years. This isn't just about superior senses. It's about a deep, almost mystical connection to the rhythms of our planet. Historical records from Native American traditions also speak of this phenomenon. The Lakota people, in particular, held dogs in high regard as spiritual beings who could bridge the gap between the physical and natural worlds. They believed dogs were gifted with the ability to see what humans couldn't, not just spirits, but the very forces of nature themselves. But perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from modern scientific studies. Researchers have discovered that dogs possess specialized sensory cells that can detect minute changes in static electricity, changes that often precede storms and earthquakes. Their bodies are literally designed to be early warning systems. This brings us to current times, where more and more people are reporting their dogs' weather predicting abilities. From detecting approaching tornadoes in the Midwest to sensing hurricanes along the coastal regions, our canine companions continue to demonstrate their remarkable connection to nature's forces. What's truly fascinating is how this ability manifests in everyday life. Your dog's sudden anxiety during a seemingly clear day might not be random at all. That inexplicable restlessness could be their ancient warning system at work, detecting approaching weather systems long before our sophisticated meteorological equipment can confirm it. But as remarkable as these environmental prophecies are, they pale in comparison to what we're about to explore next. As we delve into the spiritual realm, we'll discover abilities that challenge our very understanding of reality itself. Because if dogs can sense the physical changes in our world with such accuracy, what else might they be perceiving in the vast expanse of existence that remains invisible to our human eyes? Section 5. The spiritual connection. Have you ever wondered why dogs seem to stare intently at empty corners of your home? What makes them bark at seemingly nothing in the middle of the night? And why do some cultures believe that dogs can see angels? Let me share with you a remarkable story that occurred in St. Patrick's Cathedral, New York, in the winter of 2019. Sarah Mitchell, a grief counselor, witnessed something extraordinary with her German Shepherd, Max. During a private moment of prayer, the cathedral was nearly empty that evening, bathed in the soft glow of candlelight. Max, typically a calm and well-trained service dog, began exhibiting unusual behavior. He sat upright, his ears perked forward, and his eyes followed something invisible, moving through the sacred space. This brings us to our first mysterious ability, the perception of subtle energies. Throughout history, dogs have been recognized as spiritual sentinels. In the Bible, particularly in the book of Numbers, we find references to Balaam's donkey seeing an angel that was invisible to human eyes. This spiritual sensitivity isn't limited to biblical times. It continues to manifest in our modern world. Consider the case documented by Dr. Elizabeth Cooper at the Princeton Paranormal Research Institute, where multiple dogs simultaneously reacted to unseen presences in allegedly haunted locations. Their behavior patterns were consistent: raised hackles, focused attention, and gentle whimpering, all directed at empty spaces. But what makes our canine companions so attuned to these spiritual frequencies? The answer may lie in their extraordinary sensory capabilities. Dogs possess approximately 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to our mere 6 million. But their spiritual sensitivity goes beyond mere physical sensitivity, goes beyond mere physical senses. Moving on to their ability to detect spiritual presence. In hospice care facilities across America, there are countless documented cases of dogs detecting impending transitions between life and death. Take the story of Luna, a therapy dog in Boston's Mercy Hospital. Lou would gently rest her head on the beds of patients hours before any medical indicators showed critical decline. The medical staff began to rely on her intuition, calling her behavior the Luna warning. This deep connection to the spiritual realm isn't random. Throughout Christian tradition, dogs have been associated with spiritual guardianship. Saint Roche, the patron saint of dogs, was said to have been kept alive by a dog who brought him bread during his illness, a divine intervention through a canine messenger. But perhaps most fascinating is their cosmic connection. In 2022, during a rare planetary alignment, researchers at the Colorado Mountain Institute noticed peculiar behavior patterns in their study group of 50 dogs. The animals showed heightened sensitivity and unusual synchronization in their behavior, particularly during peak astronomical events. Dr. Rachel Morrison, a quantum physicist and theological researcher, suggests that dogs may be able to perceive what she calls quantum spiritual frequencies, vibrations that exist at the intersection of the physical and spiritual realms. Her research, combining theological wisdom with quantum mechanics, offers a fascinating glimpse into why dogs seem so attuned to both earthly and celestial phenomena. This brings us to a profound question. What if our dog's spiritual sensitivity serves a greater purpose? What if they're not just pets, but divinely appointed guardians, chosen to bridge the gap between our material world and the spiritual realm The evidence suggests that dogs possess a unique ability to perceive and interact with spiritual energies that we humans, limited by our physical senses, cannot detect. Their role as spiritual sentinels has been documented across cultures, religions, and throughout history. Remember Sarah and Max at St. Patrick's Cathedral? Weeks later, she discovered that her location in the cathedral coincided with a historic chapel dedicated to guardian angels. Max's behavior that evening wasn't just random. It was another piece in the puzzle of our dog's extraordinary spiritual capabilities. As we conclude this exploration of our dog's spiritual connections, we must ask ourselves, could these faithful companions be more than just pets? Could they be divine messengers chosen to help us understand the deeper mysteries of existence? Their ability to perceive subtle energies, detect spiritual presences, and connect with cosmic forces suggests that dogs might indeed be living bridges between our world and the divine. As we continue our journey through their extraordinary abilities, we'll discover even more evidence of their unique role in our lives. Conclusion: our chosen companions. We've journeyed together through the extraordinary world of canine perception, uncovering abilities that challenge our understanding of reality. As we conclude, let's reflect on what we've discovered about these remarkable beings who share our lives. From their ability to detect ultraviolet light to their connection with cosmic energies, our dogs experience a world far richer and more complex than we ever imagined. They serve not just as companions, but as guardians, healers, and bridges to realms beyond our perception. Think about it. Every time your dog alerts you to an approaching storm, senses your sadness before you've shed a tear, or stares intently at seemingly empty spaces, they're demonstrating abilities that science is only beginning to understand. These aren't just coincidences or random behaviors. They're glimpses into the extraordinary capabilities that make dogs truly special. But here's the profound question that emerges from all we've explored. What if these abilities aren't just fascinating phenomena, but signs of a deeper purpose? What if our dogs were chosen specifically to help us understand aspects of reality that we, with our limited human senses, cannot perceive? The evidence we've examined, from scientific studies to spiritual traditions, from historical accounts to modern-day experiences, suggests something remarkable. Our dogs might be serving as living bridges between the physical and spiritual realms, chosen to help guide and protect us in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. So, as you look at your faithful companion tonight, remember, you're not just seeing a pet. You're seeing a being with extraordinary capabilities, one that might have been chosen specifically to walk beside you on your life's journey. I invite you to share your own experiences. Has your dog ever displayed any of these remarkable abilities we've discussed? Have they sensed something you couldn't see, warned you of approaching danger, or comforted you in moments of need? Share your story in the comments below. Every experience adds to our understanding of these extraordinary beings. If your dog has ever demonstrated any of these incredible abilities, show your appreciation by giving this video a thumbs up. And if you want to learn more about the extraordinary world of our animal companions, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Before we part, I leave you with this thought. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about our dogs' extraordinary abilities isn't just what they can perceive, but what they teach us about the vast mysteries that exist beyond our human understanding. They remind us that there's more to our world than what meets the eye, and that sometimes the most profound truths come to us through the silent wisdom of our four-legged friends. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. Until next time, keep watching, keep wondering, and keep appreciating the extraordinary beings who've chosen to share their lives with us.